Have you ever seen an image that has left you uneasy? A cursed photo that strangely managed to bring you back to a more simple time? Better yet, have you been somewhere that gave off this feeling? I used to live next to a really busy road. All day and night, it was nothing but racing cars going 40 miles an hour down the street. Until one night when I had some friends over, a thick fog rolled in. I was in my living room around 1:30 a.m. when I had my friends bust in telling me I should check out the street, being told it's like a horror movie and looks just like Silent Hill. And so, being a dumb teen, I followed them. What I saw still sticks with me to this day. A street that was always occupied with fast cars and loud noise was silent and empty, yet still managing to give it the sense of stretching on forever. Long story short, the police showed up out of nowhere and gave me and my friends tickets for being out past curfew. But what we got caught enjoying was liminal space. Almost every definition or explanation of liminal and liminality is best described as the in-between or transition between two concepts or places. But this only loosely plays into what we consider liminal spaces as of today. Because while it does work best with things like hallways, childhood homes, and old play places, areas in their own way that are quite literally transitional spaces, hallways being a space that is in between two rooms, your childhood home being the transitional space between your sentience to adulthood, and abandoned public areas like malls, hotels, and play places. Though it is kind of a stretch, these could be considered the in-between of you leaving and returning from home. But there are also some that break this transitional and in-between definition, like these images showing off old cartoons and movie backgrounds that give off the vibe of liminal space. But what is the liminal space vibe? I think it's best described as an image or place that gives off weird feelings of confusion, fear, comfort, and most importantly, nostalgia. I believe nostalgia can be found in and is a key point to all liminal spaces, and can be noticed in either all three or at least one of these aspects: quality, the time period, and/or the location. In a lot of liminal space images, you will see how they use the nostalgia of low-quality photos that look as if they come from an old Polaroid or phone. Some liminal spaces might even include old furniture and out-of-style wallpaper. Maybe some even show off a TV set playing an old show. But even if the image is neither of those things, the location will almost always play a part in the nostalgic feel of the liminal space. Like play places, pools, and the green grass with bright blue skies that for some reason seem to be so much more noticeable as a kid. While yes, with how broad liminal space is for people now, I'm sure you could find a liminal space image without a sense of nostalgia, but I think you would have a very hard time doing so. If you have ever found yourself in the same areas of the internet as me, you have probably seen one of these videos before. I think there are two major things to take away from these kind of videos. First one being that liminal space and nostalgia are heavily related to each other. And second, the lack of people will either make or break the liminal feel of a photo. As you may have already noticed, some of these images could be perfect liminal spaces. The only issue is the fact that there's people in the space, and it's no longer a point of view perspective. The same logic can be used for most backroom related liminal spaces. Adding monsters and lore takes away from the original feeling of the liminal background. This doesn't mean I dislike the backrooms though, because there are multiple games that are really fun on Steam. I highly suggest that you check them out. Most of them you need friends or so, but a lot of them are single player, and when it is single player, I think it captures the liminal feel way better, although you will probably have more fun in the games with your friends. The concept of Kane Pixel's backrooms and the community created ones are very cool. But there is still just something a bit more interesting about the very real concept of liminal space. I've always found it interesting how there are two reactions with liminal images. With one being a sense of fear, unease, and dread, and the other being a dreamlike wonder that has you wanting to visit the image you're viewing. And why, of course, this is more opinion-based than anything else. There are some levels to this that are easily understandable, such as areas like this and this. These would obviously make you maybe a little more comfortable being in this weird new environment and giving you the sense of wanting to explore than the sense of wanting to run and hide, like how these images might make you feel. But of course, humans will always stay weird, and you might see an image like this and have the weird urge to want to be there. That would be me. I want to be there. I want to be in this exact location. I understand that this might seem weird, and obviously I don't want to be there with a monster. I don't want to be there with a clown, something that's going to try and harm me. I just want to be there and experience this weird sense of liminality. If you've seen one of the many liminal space videos on TikTok and Instagram, there's a good chance you have heard these songs before. But one that is used very often is It's Just a Burning Memory, which is a little bit funny considering it's part of a much longer and creepier selection of songs, coming from a 6-hour-long music video called The Caretaker. The entire video was made to show the process of dementia through music. And let's just say, if creepy was the vibe liminal space is going for, the later half of this playlist would be a perfect fit. The most interesting part of this being that somehow even music has a way of being liminal. Comparing it with even some of the most normal images can make it seem liminal. One of the funnier examples being Minecraft songs that would often be heard during most of our childhoods. The fact that Minecraft and other early video games have the ability to give liminal vibes plays heavily into my point of how time will play an effect on liminal space. While liminal space has technically existed for a long time now, the concept of liminal space we know of today is still relatively new. And if you really think about how liminal space is mostly built off nostalgia, and nostalgia changes from generation to generation, what will liminal space be in the future? I don't mean to repeat myself, but the word liminality has been around since the early 20th century, the definition being a state of transition or in between. But I found a site stating the term itself started to be used more and more how we see it as of today back in the 1950s, dying out again and then once again gaining popularities in the late 2010s, more closer to 2016 to 2020. I also find it interesting that in 1948, just a few years before the concept of liminal areas became popular again, we ended up with the Polaroid camera. I'm assuming a lot of kids had small parts of their childhood captured in these photos and would experience the same effect that we're getting today with the sense of nostalgia and old quality images as they grew up. Without trying to be an old man wagging his hand saying, "Why you youngins today are glued to your screens." The future of liminal space will probably only be digital. Like I've shown before, we already have plenty of images from old games, shows, and movies giving off this liminal feel. We are now pretty much making it towards the end of my video. But first, guys, this video is taking me quite a while. I know it's just 10 minutes long, but please, if you have made it this far, 1, thank you so much, and 2, maybe show a little, little like, maybe a little sub. might help me out a little bit in the future. But of course, you don't have to if you don't want to. Other than that though, I think now is a great time to bring up some honorable mentions for liminal space. There are a lot of internet cores, but these ones in specific feel like liminal space makes up the main subject of these cores. Frigid Arrow is probably one of my favorite of these aesthetics. With the really bright blue, water, trinkling sounds, and a lot of bubbles. Honestly, it's kind of hard to describe. But Frigid also seems to lean on the old desktop screensavers of the past, where they would normally depict really bright green grass alongside modernish looking cities, but almost always involving a really, really bright blue. Following up this is Dreamcore, Weirdcore, and Kidcore. Again, these are all in their own way different and unique compared to liminal space, but they either still rely on the physical aspect or the emotional one. I really want to make individual videos on each one of these as well, by the way. That is of course only if this vid shows you all might want that sort of thing. So please leave a comment below, maybe even letting me know. I also wanted to quickly mention two games that give off liminal space vibes. Subliminal and Ena's Dream Barbecue. One being an extremely creative perspective-based puzzle game, and the other one being a beautiful passion piece full of incredible voice acting and art. Games can give off such a weirdly liminal feeling. This is even more noticeable in VR games, but the weird vibe of VR games can be talked about in a different video, as I also really want to make a video on that as well. Guys, seriously, thank you so much for making it this far into the video, and actually for watching the entire video. That's right, you don't have to sit here and listen to my voice any longer. But some sad news. While making this video, I got fired, so I'm unemployed now. And hopefully that'll change soon. Obviously, we're not going to try and ride the unemployment, but I will just say, if you guys can show any sort of love, appreciation towards the channel and this video at all, anything that'll help us out, maybe even get us closer to the ability to have memberships or something like that, just so that we can make a small stepping stone of maybe trying to make this channel a full-time thing, that'd be awesome. But obviously, this is probably going to be one of my first videos that I've even put this much effort into. While yes, I have tons of videos, all edited, some even 40 minutes long, this one definitely took a lot of effort for me, and I even wanted to do more with this video. But with how things are going so far in my life, I figured it was best to go ahead and just throw this out into the world and make this video real quick. All the other stuff I said in this video so far isn't a lie though. I do genuinely want to make more videos on the smaller subjects such as Dreamcore, Weirdcore, Frigid Arrow, and all of those, because I don't think I served them enough justice in this video. And I know I can't really call this a video essay because, one, this is only like, what, 10 minutes long at most if we only include the liminal space stuff. So, I don't know. Just maybe help me out here, you know? Check out the channel, check out some of my other videos. I post a lot of gaming videos, but I also have animations, and I also have... Wait, guys, I think that's it. I think that's all I have. Anyways, if you've made it this far, thank you so much once more. And have a nice day, because you know I will. Later.